Hey, welcome back to Faith and Fitness and the Raw Truth. I'm Mark. I'm a life coach, and this is Kevin, and he's a health coach, and we want to tell you about the truth about health and fitness. He's flexing his muscles. I have muscles too, but I don't flex them because I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable on their size. Anyway, last time we talked about clean, effective supplements, stuff backed by real science, real integrity. And this week it's about uh, about the stuff you should run away from, stuff that's not good. But before we get into that, I want to just share with you a little bit about my coaching, and I have a little thing I want to share with you today. And when I was a church planter, I used to say always to the folks, "This is going to be great." Anytime we did something, well, let me say it loud to you today. This is happening, and it's going to be great. Why? Because God started it. Philippians 1:6 says, "He who has begun a good work in you will complete it on the day of salvation." In other words, God is not the kind of person that kind of walks away from something that's half done, not like we do. He sees it all the way through. And I know that you might not see greatness. In fact, you might only see chaos in your life. But that certainly doesn't mean that your story's over. God does his best work behind the curtain. So while the world's yelling, "It's falling apart," you get to whisper back, "No, this is happening, and it's going to be great." Now, folks, I want to tell you, your life is going to be great. Not because of what you've done, but because of what God is doing. You've got this, I've got you, Kevin's got you. And so today we're going to go into the truth that Satan doesn't want you to know, that could actually destroy your health and could distract you, get you overloaded. And one of the big things about industry today, the industry that's the health industry, is they really want to keep you sick. They don't really, there was the song, "I'm not sick, but I'm not well." Well, that's the way they want to keep you. Not sick, but not well. And, we want, as two Christians who believe in what God says, the Bible says in John, Jesus said, "If the Son sets you free, you are free indeed." And you're free from your sin, you're free from a lot of things, but you're also free to have common sense, and you're also free to learn what's right and what's wrong. And so you have to get away from dependency and junk that promises results but only delivers a dysfunction. And we don't want that. We want to be functional people. I just got my hip replaced 8 weeks ago, and I'm going through rehab, and it's getting functional, and I'm standing taller, and I'm in this weight loss process, and it's because things are functional. And when my hip was bad, things were dysfunctional, and so we're trying to move from dysfunction to function. Kevin, let's get to what you're going to do today. Diet, the fitness diet, and the raw truth. So give us the raw truth, Kevin.
Absolutely, Mark, and thanks. Yeah, folks, when you're trying to get in shape, you got to make sure that you're getting good information. You need to vet things. Sometimes some of you need to actually go and speak with your doctors to find out if you can actually take some of this. And that's all well and good. We do advise you, and as a disclaimer here, that some of the stuff that we are going to recommend and not recommend, that you actually go and check with your doctor and make sure that anything that you consume is going to work out for you. So real fuel and raw truth, right? If you're listening to this, you're probably trying to optimize your energy, your body, and your life, and that's good. We can work across all three planes. That's what we want to do here. But if it's not rooted in truth, it's just going to be more hype. And there's a lot of, like we talked about the fad diets the other week, where, there's some diets you can do, but as with anything, you could probably only do it for a short amount of time because the impact on the body. Sometimes people give you something and say, "Hey, we'll promise you'll burn, you'll lose weight." And some people are actually losing tremendous amounts of weight, but to the detriment of their health, because some of the products that are, the components, the ingredients in those products that they're using aren't good long term or even at all. So we covered the good ones, third-party tested supplements, things like GBX Fit, the Happy Juice, creatine monohydrate. It's been around forever. D3 with K2, right? So these things can help fill in the gaps and not sell illusions. Now, with anything and everything that we put out there, you you can't take a magic pill. There is no magic pill that's going to fix anything that you have. It's going to take hard work, dedication. You're going to make time for this. You have to set boundaries for yourself. You're going to have to take control. And some of the supplements that we've recommended will actually help change and transform your mind, right? So that you only want the good things and not the bad things. In fact, I was listening to a podcast today or something, an ad on YouTube in between, and they were talking about there's some bacteria in your stomach that wants the cookies, that wants the ice cream, that wants all these bad things. Whereas with the Amari products and good probiotics in general, yogurts, kefir, things like that, help change the mindset of your stomach. So now you're not fighting the mind down here with the mind up here. You know, you're going to be able to control those urges. So that was really good what we covered the last time, our last air date. Now, for things to stay away from, and we're going to cover everything, guys to gals, but right off the top, it's testosterone boosters, right? Some of them come with DHEA or sketchy proprietary blends that they don't optimize. They actually disrupt. They could have fillers in them. They're not third-party tested, so you're not really getting something that's clinical or manufactured in a CGMP process. So pre-workouts too, with like 400 milligrams of caffeine and hidden stimulants, right? You're not energized. You're overclocked. You got the jitters, and so those things aren't really good for you either. Fat burners, right? They might shred water weight, but they'll fry out your adrenal system. So you got to look at some of those things too with what you take for supplements. Start slow, go slow, take something for a couple of weeks to a month, find out how your body is adjusting. Are you losing weight? Are you getting leaner, thinner? Do your pants fit, differently? Are you going up in weight, but your pants still fit the same and your strength is going up? Then that's a plus. Anything to the opposite of that, it's going down, probably take that out of your diet. SARMs or fake anabolics marketed as safe, but have been known to mess with the hormone balance and liver health. So those are things you got to worry about. And even detox teas. Now, I've been known to take some myself. I actually did the yogi ones, and this might be a little TMI, but I'll keep it short on this blip. That you can choke a toilet the next day with the yogi teas from Walmart. So they do work, and I used to take them at 8 o'clock at night, but again, short term. Now, because they can do more harm than good, and they can actually do some damage. So God gave us a liver already, which, as you know, or you don't know, that when you consume alcohol, your liver actually changes composition to pump out the toxin, because alcohol in the system is a toxin. It's why I don't drink. Now, here are some of the products that I have personally used, and I did not have anything good from them as far as the pluses and the side effects being substantially greater and a gain in any direction. One was the GNC whey protein, the red and black label, the regular whey protein that they have. It caused me some stomach discomfort, and I took it for about a month, maybe 2 months, and then one of these months that I was taking it, a knife like in my stomach, and I'm like, why does it hurt so bad? So I went and talked to my doctor, and he says, hey, take a probiotic. I got one off the shelf. I still have the bottle today because Happy Juice took its place. I popped that pill, and in 30 minutes, my stomach felt a whole lot better. Because one, the whey protein, what it had in it, wasn't sitting well with me. Number two, consuming processed whey protein, while it's good to help build muscle, it disrupts the microbiome in your stomach. So a lot of people don't realize this, and I know now, especially then with the pain, but also now in my summer shred session that I'm doing, I have upped my protein intake with shakes, and you've got to be careful because I'm starting to feel my stomach start to go that way again. So I popped a probiotic last night, long after my Happy Juice in the morning, and I feel much better. So I know how much to take and when to take things. You guys have got to pay attention to this. If you sign up and get into one of the coaching sessions with me, I will show you how to time that out. Optimum nutrition, casein protein, didn't work for me either. It led to bloating and a sluggish recovery. They also have dimetized protein, right? It was a nice one. I used to love making my coffee shakes in the morning, right? A little bit of coffee, a little bit of milk, put the dimetized protein in there, vanilla, was awesome. But the sucralose was packed into my waist, and I'm like, I'm not really gaining here. If I'm gaining more down around the midsection than on my arms, I don't really want this. So sucralose, your body doesn't know what to do with it because it's not a normal natural sugar. So it wraps it up in fat and it packs it off to the side. Now, these aren't bad for everyone. Like I said, they didn't work for me. Some of them, again, cause painful bloating, gut irritation, and possible kidney stress. Because I could only take the casein protein from Optimum Nutrition for like a month, and like my kidneys started to hurt. Lesson to learn here, right? Even mainstream brands with clean labels can react differently to, person to person. So you got to make sure you watch your diet. You look at what you're taking. You set out your diet for 2 weeks. You make and eat the same food every day or every week. That's a meal plan, right? And then every 2 to 4 weeks, we can make small changes to see based off your progress in your body and in your strength. Bottom line, listen to your body. Pain is feedback. If your fuel hurts you, it's not fuel. So what to do is to stay with raw whole foods, right? Fruits, greens, fermented foods, meats, like I told you about the carnivore diet, doing chicken, red meat, fish, poultry, that type of thing. Ancestral proteins, pasture-raised meats, right? Organ meats, omega-3s, bone broth, sea salt, and trace minerals, right? These are deep nourishment, right? Not surface level fixes. And these are things that our bodies need. We don't realize that as people. Some of the problems we might have with either fog or, depression might be because we're a little bit low in iron, zinc or magnesium, right? Helps you with your focus, helps with not feeling sluggish. I know for some women, when you're going through the time of the month or something like that, and you don't have a lot of blood and you're losing a lot, double up on that iron. Make sure you're taking your iron supplements. Filtered water and daily sleep, right, helps you with this, right? It's one of the biggest tricks I could ever tell you about is making sure you're getting good water and sleep, because like you can't out-train a bad diet. If you don't have any sleep or rest, you're really not going to recover. So supplements are support, not salvation, right? You were designed for wholeness, not to be patched together by pills and powders, but you can use some pills and some powders to get you that edge. And we talk about that in my coaching session about what pills, what foods, and what powders to take at what point of the day and for what type of training that you're doing. So you have to ask yourself, when you're doing these things, is what I'm doing rooted, in fear or freedom? Is this aligned with my faith and my purpose, or am I chasing the world's definition of strength? So if you want lasting results, you have to align your fuel with your faith, stay as close to raw, stay ready, and stay in truth.
Well,
Mark?
it's really important to stay in truth and to align with your faith and purpose. One of the things that I offer is, and that goes hand in hand with what Kevin does, is I offer a 30-day clarity coaching session. And what it is it'll be 4 coaching sessions, and you have unlimited texting to me in between. And I really offer that for a very incredibly low price of $297. And you can go to my website, www.avlp.org, and you get a free 15-minute consult, and we can talk this through. But this goes hand in hand in what Kevin's doing. You can also get Kevin as on one-on-one, or we're talking about maybe doing some group things where we get 10 or 11 people and we do a seminar for an hour or so. So these are things that are coming. But when Kevin speaks to you about this stuff, it's because he's done them himself, and he's getting me to do them, and I'm beginning to do them, and we're seeing some positive results in our life. So you can just shrug your shoulders, but some pretty valuable stuff here.
Oh yeah,
And once you
absolutely.
get feeling better, wow, man, it's just amazing how the world changes for you.
It does. It does. I've seen, like I said, when I started dropping the sucralose, and like there's even things like xanthan gum, and these types of gums that are used as thickeners or stabilizers, right, in processed foods. While they're generally recognized as safe, by the FDA, there are some concerns like digestive issues, as soluble fiber, or if it's in larger amounts, it can cause gas and bloating or diarrhea. Like I remember the first time I started taking protein powders back when I was like 22, 23. I couldn't. I was always on the toilet. So I stopped taking those and I just stuck with the gym and the food that I could do. But I couldn't gain any muscle mass because I was too young and my metabolism was off the chart. But people have to realize that there's, gut microbiome impacts from some of these ingredients. While they look like they're approved because they're on the bottle, you got to think about how much of that you're taking in across all the foods that you're eating. So if you're going to take, a risk, make sure it might be in a supplement that you're trying to do for maybe adding some muscle or trying to burn something, but that would be like the only time you would take and accept that. Again, it'd be nice to steer away from these things. I'm starting to buy things that don't have nitrates in it anymore. It doesn't have a long shelf life, so you got to eat it as soon as you buy it, just about. But those are the types of choices that we have to make in
There,
lifestyle.
there, when we talk about raw diets, there's some interesting things about raw diets, such as asparagus is more densely nutrient packed after you cook it. So are carrots. They have more dense nutrient dense. There are others that don't. You need to eat them raw. So if we start looking a little bit more at what we're eating, I think that'll change how we think and how we view the world. It's really important. And those ancestral proteins uh, are amazing. You need to think through that because that's what our body's made for. So
Yeah, I have got to give those a try. Those I have not done yet, but life's a journey, so we'll definitely take a look at what those can do. I have, been staying as close to, raw as possible with the meats, but right, the ancestral proteins might be one of the ways to go. So that's all
well,
I have.
we don't want to be fanatical. One of the things we have to do is we have to use common sense. Okay, you're not always going to be able to have raw vegetables. You're not always going to be able to have, bone broth and sea salt and trace minerals. But so use your common sense. One of the things that you realize is if you're gonna, it's okay to have a hot dog. Just don't have 15 hot dogs. You know,
Exactly.
uh, just it's a matter of just common sense. And once
Yeah,
we learn common sense, then we're much
yeah,
better
hot
off.
dogs are on the list of one of the foods that I will like not ever kind of eat, although this is the one that I did. I got some that didn't have the nitrates in it, and they were uncured hot dogs. So they were more, fresh or raw.
And you've
And
got to eat them quickly because they go bad. That's the
yeah,
kind I get. If you
yeah,
keep them more than a few days, they're going to
okay.
start going bad.
Yep.
So,
So I had one and it was fine, but that's like the one, like I do it every year. I do one donut in October when the leaves change with the kids. So I'll, outside with the apple cider and a donut, and that'll be it. But that's like my one hot dog for the year. But I haven't had one, I think, in like 2 or 3 years. I just don't do hot dogs. But yeah, we'll get to you guys some more tips and tricks of like when to eat. Right now for myself, like I said, I was tripling up my shake intake, and I'm noticing that I was doing a shake before and after training, and then one late at night because I don't want to lose my muscle mass. And so far, I'm not. But the thing is that the stomach takes a hit. I'm starting to feel like nauseous. I'm starting to feel a little bit of discomfort, like lay a certain way, or I feel something. I'm like, I don't get this. I'm hungry, but it hurts. What did I do? And it's like, you know what? Let's go get that probiotic. I remember my doctor visit. I popped that probiotic last night, and today I feel great. Again, the same thing. You have to make sure your system is ready to receive the nutrition that you're putting in, right? So we make abs in the kitchen, we go and accelerate those in the gym, and then you come back and look at yourself. And then when you're working with me and you're being coached by me, we'll talk about what foods to eat for what type of gains you want. You want to gain weight, we're going to get you on a diet so that you can gain. If you want to, and it's not a dirty bulk, it's going to be a clean bulk. And then if you want to lose weight, we're going to talk about how to start with a calorie intake and then slowly start to peel that back. And then we'll talk about some of the supplements that you can take to help, again, accelerate some of these things. Like I've been doing the Amari Happy Juice and the GBX Fit, plus the Hormone Pack in tandem with Titan Medicals and clomiphene and anastrozole. So that's my winning combination for me to get, ripped to the bone. So
Well,
the other thing is all the hard work doing all the cardio, mowing
right. Hey, we're almost done. So, Kevin, how do they get a hold of you to set these things up?
Yeah, for right now, I haven't gotten the site up yet fully, but you can hit me up, my email address, which is, kpescatello@gmail.com. I'll look for it there. I will eventually send up one for Ascendant Mind and Body. There is the Ascendant Mind and Body Facebook site, LinkedIn, so you can go there. There will be a website coming shortly, but you can go there and get a hold of me. You'll see me on Facebook. Just message me. Look at some of my posts. If I got some actions in there for you to get involved into a program, just comment on those posts and I will get back to you as quickly as I can and get you set up. We'll do a consultation, which is free, and I will walk you through and show you what you can do.
Great. You can get a hold of me by going to www.avlp.org. And you can also email me at avlpsolutions68@gmail.com. So, Kevin, thanks. I appreciate all the stuff you said today. There was a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And I think if we start is acting in common sense, we're all going to be
Yeah.
much better off.
Yep.
All right, folks. Thanks for being with us today. Blessings on you.